Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, my name is Monty Waldin. I'm with Alessio Planeta from the Planeta Winery in Sicily. When I say winery, you've actually got more than one, haven't you? Well, explain a little bit why you have so many wineries dotted around Sicily.
Well, we started something more than 20 years ago in Menfi and Sambuca on the west part of Sicily, where I was born, where my family is based in Century. We were there, and my grandfather was a classic old Sicilian baron, but was a little bit different from the other one because he liked very much to do agriculture and to do agriculture in a serious way. So he was born in 1893. So I don't know if you can imagine what was Sicily at that time. Very difficult, especially the southwest part of Sicily, with bandits, with any kind of problem. Far from the rest of the world, far from everything, really. We had our own civilization, you know. By the way, my grandfather was a very open-minded man, and he do agriculture in a modern way. And in the 50s, he had some grapes. He make wine for the village. But in the 50s, he decided to make a cooperative with other person in the area of Menfi, and he founded a cooperative. This cooperative was immediately after my uncle Diego became president of this cooperative, and the cooperative go very fast from 8 members to 2,000 members and became very, very big. My uncle Diego is maybe one of the most important person in the wine in Sicily, because in the 80s, when Sicily was start to rethink about themselves, because Sicily was full of vineyards. Sicily had at that time 140,000 hectares of vineyards, so we were bigger than Australia, to give you an idea. So at that time, Sicily was full of wine, but was not able to sell wine. We produced the wrong wine. We didn't go in the market. So at that time started work done by a group of producers, a group of persons that start from experimenting in the vineyards first, in the winery after, and start to go around the world. Sicily, maybe people don't know, but Sicily was the first region of Italy come all together in the same pavilion in Vinitaly. And Sicily started to work very well. And this was the middle of 80s. They start experimenting new variety. In the 80s, it was very important for Sicily to plant French grapes because it was too early to go in the market talking about Nero d'Avola and Catarratto or whatever.
When you say French grape, you mean Merlot, Cabernet?
Mostly Chardonnay. That was very important because there was a couple of Chardonnay from Sicily that really ringed the bell of the market. And mostly, and then Syrah, and then Merlot and Cabernet. So these 4 grapes. That was very important to say, to go to a fair, to say, here we are. So this is what we have done at that time. And so I was talking about us. In the middle of 80s, we are a big family. My father, there are 7 brothers, and we are 15 cousins. Can you imagine what is a Christmas party or whatever? By the way, in 85, we plant vineyards in the area of Sambuca in the southwest, in a beautiful place. And we plant 50 hectares of vineyards, and my generation start to be part of this. In 95, after 10 years of experimentation, we've done the first wineries and the first wine on the market. And it was 96. So in 96, my cousin Francesca, that mother is English, so she speaks English very well, and she traveled a lot. She studied marketing. I studied agriculture, and my brother studied economy. We start 3 of us. I was making the wine. My cousin do marketing, and my brother sells the wine.
But was that the plan? Did you all deliberately choose university studies? All right, you're going to do the selling, I'm going to do the marketing, or was it just coincidence that you?
No, it was something, since I was very, very young, I like to spend all my holidays or my weekend in the country area. I was the strange one that don't stay in the city but stay in the country. So it was something natural that I became the one that studied agriculture and make wines. And they study marketing and whatever. So we start in the right moment, maybe playing the right music, and things works very well. And the first maybe good idea we had in the 80s was to rethink about Sicilian vineyards. So a little bit some new varieties, a little bit of rediscovering some old grapes. And the second maybe good idea was in 96, 97, when After that we start to go around the market, there was a big demand of a Sicilian Chardonnay or Sicilian Merlot. We start to think about the future. The future was to move from Memphis, from Sambuca, where I was born, to produce some wine that was tradition and history of Sicilian wine. I had a big collection of books about wine and viticulture and agriculture, especially from the south. And once I found a book, and there was a chapter that there was a ghost wine from Sicily, and there were a few wines there, and I started to be curious about this. And so in 1997, we do something that was not easy at that time. So we say, okay, we go out from our farm, from the place where we was born, where we stayed since century, to producing wine in other parts of Sicily. We go first to Vittoria, for the Cerasuolo di Vittoria, then in Noto, in the southeast of Sicily, in the southern point of all Italy, and to make it the Nero d'Avola from Noto. Then we went to Etna, and now in the last years we went to Capo Milazzo, where exists a very small appellation, the name is Mamertino. In each of these places, we have done first research of the best terroir, then we plant the vineyards, and some years later we have done the winery. So Planeta is like a collection of 5 small wineries around Sicily, dedicated only to the wine of the area.
So it's a bit like your cousins. You have all these cousins and then you have all these wineries. I mean, so you like keeping things complicated.
5 of us are involved directly in the business, and but it's funny to have a family company, Sicilian family company is huge. We do meetings always with some food. So our business review is eating and talking about business at the same time. All the wineries are in beautiful place. So in place that we choose because the combination between the right terroir, the area, the landscape is perfect. And since a few years, so we do hospitality. We had something like a small boutique hotel in Memphis, and any winery can be visited, and any winery is in some ways special.
I mean, we often, when people think about southern Italy, they often have a sort of negative perception of being a little bit backward, very slow to change, resistant to new ideas. But you really were ahead of the curve in terms of matching grape varieties to particular soil types and climates, and choosing your local grape varieties well, and also the idea of wine or vineyards as a sort of tourist. What's your next step going to be?
But first, talking about the south, I think that people have to know that the south of Italy is the heart of all Mediterranean. If you think that the Mediterranean food is now maybe the most influential food maybe in the world, I don't know. And in Sicily, olive oil, pasta, tomatoes, citrus have their homeland. I don't want to talk about wines, but even if also about wines, we produce wine in Sicily since 27th century. Of course, we Sicilians we are slow. We live in a slow way. So, but there is a lot of new things that are going to happen in Sicily in the last years about food and wine, because really the potential of Sicily is great.
So when you get home, obviously you've got so many responsibilities, when you get home at night, you want to unwind. Is one way of unwind, is it cooking, or your favourite dish that you have, or do you just...
No, I like very much to cook. I like very much to cook some kind of pasta with vegetables. So what I do usually is to go in the, garden, in the orto, in the vegetable garden that I have in my house. I have a house in the city and a house in the country area in Memphis, near the sea, in a lovely place. Southwest of Sicily is very wide and very pure and very clean. It's lovely. And so I usually cook vegetables. I make pasta and vegetables. And for me, one of the best pleasure of life is to drink wine while you cook. Not usually when you finish to cook, you finish the bottle of wine. So this is what I do. And then my family, we are a big family. With very good cookers, and every time we eat all together, there is a discussion about food, and Sicilian talk always about food.
Okay, listen, Alessio Planeta, we could talk possibly for several days about all the things that you've done, all the things that you will do. Let's leave that for another conversation. I hope to come down to Sicily to see you sometime, and I really do think that, as I said before, you're ahead of the curve, and I get the sense that you're not resting on your laurels. You've got plenty of plans up your sleeves. So Planeta is definitely a winery to follow. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you very much to all of you. Thank you.
Follow us at Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook.